Bitcoin, it's no secret by now, it's grown exponentially over the last 10 years. In fact, Bitcoin's 10-year compound annual growth rate is, quote, unmatched in financial history. And at 200%, that means investors have nearly tripled their investments every single year for the last decade. And in its 12 years of total existence, which is not that long at all, it went from being essentially worthless at one point to breaking $58,000 per Bitcoin just last month. And this party is really just getting started. 2021 will prove to be yet another defining year in the meteoric rise of Bitcoin and the global financial revolution. It seems like at least once a week we hear about a company or investment fund making another large Bitcoin purchase. We've got Tesla, MicroStrategy, Guggenheim Investments, Grayscale, and a number of other companies like MassMutual, Roofer Investments, Stone Ridge, and Square have also allocated funds to Bitcoin. I mean, even the oldest bank of the United States, the Bank of New York Mellon, has revealed it's going to start financing Bitcoin and other digital currencies through the rollout of a new crypto custody service. Keeping all of this in mind, this macro chart here predicting a $361,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2021 doesn't seem so crazy. Or does it? Let's take a trip in our time machine and take a look at Bitcoin's previous price action, see if there are any clues as to where Bitcoin may be headed in the month of March, and if there's anything we can find that will give us insight about where the Bitcoin price may be headed by the end of the year.
Self-destruct sequence activated. 3, 2, 1.
Is this your homework, Larry?
Ask him about the car, man.
Is this yours, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry?
Is that your car out front?
Is this your homework, Larry?
We know it's his fucking homework. Where's the fucking money, you little brat?
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Welcome back. We have the dollar, Japan has the yen, and the internet, it has the Bitcoin.
Thousands of protesters have clashed with police on the streets of Athens. They're rallying against the measures being imposed to save the Greek economy.
Early this year, you could buy a Bitcoin for less than $1 and sell it for $30 this summer. Or, by now, one is worth just a few dollars.
Goldman Sachs, in conjunction with the Greek government, hid billions and billions of debt.
Not a way to make money or lose money. It's a way to get money from point A to point B. The value of the coin really means nothing compared to the technology.
Just like those bonuses on Goldman Sachs being paid this year, were taken right out of the starving Americans' pockets. The homeless in America have the Goldman Sachs to thank for their homelessness and starvation right now. They took their money from their pockets, they put it in their bonuses for this year. That's unconscionable.
All right, so our time machine only goes back to 2011, but that's a good place to start. The peak of the very first Bitcoin bubble was in June of 2011. Prices were a whopping $32 on Mt. Gox and quickly crashed 68%. Then, after recovering above $20, Bitcoin entered into its first bear market, and it lasted through November, where prices bottomed at around $2, a 94% fall from the all-time high. Prices then recovered from the $2 November low up to a little over $7 in January of 2012. They then crashed another 36% to $4.60 leading into March, where Bitcoin opened the month at $5.05 and then closed the month down a little more than 4.5% at $4.82. Now the price reached a high of $5.44 in March before crashing almost 17% all the way down to $4.54. This would be the last time Bitcoin would ever trade at this price. The price of Bitcoin would go on to double between the 1st of July and the 18th of August in 2012, all the way up to $15.25. That's when the price fell about 51% over 2 days. Prices wouldn't see new highs until the following year.
I see for 2012 that Bitcoins, I got silver on the brain, Bitcoins is going to outperform, obviously, gold and silver. But not only that, I think Bitcoins is going to to go higher than silver prices before it comes crashing back down again to probably around anywhere between $3 to $8.
I need brace yourselves for temporal displacement.
I don't understand. How did this unregulated imaginary currency invented by an anonymous hacker and backed by the full faith and credit of YouTube comments ever go wrong?
Global worries stemming from that financial crisis in the Mediterranean nation of Cyprus.
Now, it has stocks sliding across Asia this morning, and it was a major reason for the Dow's 90-point skid yesterday. ABC's Nick Schifrin is in Cyprus, where worry and anger is rampant.
Imagine you woke up one day to discover that your bank account had been raided by another country's government, and poof, just like that, 1 out of every $16 in your supposedly safe bank account is gone. If you're wealthy enough to have more savings, well, it could be 1 out of every 10. That's what happened to the citizens of Cyprus back in 2013 when their bank went belly up and closed its doors to all of its depositors. Another case of global financial corruption, further solidifying the need for a hard money and proving the case for Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin started 2013 booming. By the beginning of March, the price was already double the 2012 high, reaching $49 before crashing 33% back down to $33. Now, this would be the last time Bitcoin would ever trade at this price and finish the month above $90. After this crash heading into April, which was an incredible month for Bitcoin, reaching $266 for the first time ever. Then the price again crashed 61% before exploding to new all-time highs of $1,162 in November of 2013.
Hey guys, it's Nick. I just witnessed a very dramatic price crash in Bitcoin on the Mt. Gox Exchange. Mt. Gox is the main Bitcoin exchanger. It's the biggest at the moment. And from the span of about less than 5 minutes, it went from 1750, which is the range that it's been trading in for the last 72 hours. It went from 1750 all the way down to 1 penny.
After a couple of amazing years, Bitcoin would go through its toughest challenge since the Genesis block was mined just 5 years prior. The infamous Mt. Gox happened in February of 2014, causing a ton of fear that the cryptocurrency just wasn't as secure as the tech had promised. At the time, Mt. Gox was the second largest exchange in the world, and their collapse took users' Bitcoin funds with them. Now, while the majority of these stolen funds have since been recovered, we're still waiting for the U.S. government to officially release them back into the wild. March of this year, Bitcoin started down over 50% from its most recent all-time high, but Bitcoin opened the month at $557, and it closed the month at $488, down a little more than 12%.
By now, you're probably aware Bitcoin stock has continued to tumble since its peak heyday in 2013, when it was valued at more than $1,100. It's now hovering at around $330 and has dropped more than 50% since the beginning of the year. It led at least one business writer to label the controversial digital currency the worst investment of 2014, and atrociously awful, even when compared to other struggling fiat currencies such as Russia's ruble. But despite the stock's poor performance this year, more and more powerful merchants have started allowing customers to use Bitcoin for purchases. So, bottom line, is it thumbs up or thumbs down for Bitcoin moving into the new year?
After a brutal bear market where just about everyone thought Bitcoin was doomed, 2015 would prove to the world that Bitcoin is here to stay. By March of this year, the bear market was in full swing, bottoming around $152 just in January. But by March, Bitcoin had rallied about 100%, opening the month around $246, more than 50% down from the year prior. Now, Bitcoin would go on to close the month down a little over 4% at $242 and would later test the 200 weekly EMA in August before commencing the historical bull run that later peaked in 2017.
Marty, I need brace yourselves for temporal displacement.
still waiting for my taco to be dropped on my front doorstep, Tim. It's a Fox Business exclusive. We welcome Tim Draper of Draper Fisher Jurvetson. Thank you so much for being here. Right off the bat, I have to ask you
Thanks for having me.
about Bitcoin. Did Alibaba and the lead up to this massive IPO steal the thunder from Bitcoin, which has been growing pretty exponentially?
But Bitcoin, I'm still predicting Bitcoin $10,000 per Bitcoin in 3 years.
2016 began as the calm before the epic bull run storm that we saw later in 2017. Bitcoin opened the month of March right around $431.40 and closed the month down a little less than 6% at $414.18. Bitcoin would go on to peak at $779 later that year in July, then crash down a bit more than 40%, all the way down to $463 before the bullish momentum would pick back up again as Bitcoin began warming up for its historical 2017 bull run.
Two quick questions to end it up, Terry, because I know you got to go. Number one is, do you think that trading the futures in Bitcoin will limit some of the upside to it as well because it tames it? And number two, can we put a date on when we might be able to short Bitcoin?
I can't answer your first question because I have no idea. And again, I should not be trying to predict the price of products. I'm here to manage the risk of products. So, you know, you hear some people say it's worth 25, 35,000. Some people say it's worth zero. So there's a big spread there, Brian, on the price alone. When can you be able to short this product? I think sometime in the second week in December, you'll see our contract out for listing.
This year?
December of this year, yes.
This year.
And I saw that it had a punch up to about 1250. And I was like, oh, okay, it's had a little bit of a pump up to 1250. That's good. And then I was just watching it for a little bit longer, just trying to, get the sleep out of my eyes, etc. And then all of a sudden, all the way down. I saw that happen live. That was pretty cool just to see it go all the way down. I was like, holy,
Bitcoin started 2017 up 2%, right around $1,200 per coin, as traders began to pile in ahead of the upcoming SEC ruling on whether or not it would approve at least one of 3 proposed Bitcoin-focused ETFs by the March 11th deadline. Bitcoin did rally more than 20% in the first week of 2017 before taking a 35% tumble amid concerns China was going to start cracking down on trading. Now, March of 2017 was a highly volatile month. After breaking into new all-time highs, Bitcoin opened the month at $1,182, peaking at $1,350, a new all-time high at the time. Then, in typical Bitcoin style, the price crashed more than 34% over a span of 15 days before bottoming at $891, the very last time Bitcoin would ever trade at these prices. March of 2017 was the last time Bitcoin would ever trade below $1,000. Now, the price would later break the $19.6 thousand level later in December, setting the cycle's new all-time high and ingraining the word Bitcoin in the brains of people all over the world.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
What's going on with Bitcoin? Because I'm sure if any of you are looking at the charts recently, holy crap, you're pooping yourself.
So in February, we've got some ETF final decisions coming from the SEC. So in the first quarter, I'm going to see some serious conclusions coming to us.
I'm really sorry it happens because people get their hopes up that something like that is going to change their lives. And it was a very ingenious thing to figure out how to have a limited supply and make it harder to more expensive to create them as you go along and all that sort of thing. But it doesn't, the function, and this is explained to me by people a lot smarter than I am, but they say blockchain does not depend on, and JP Morgan is talking about creating their own, JPM, and it'll be worth $1. I mean, it's matched to the dollar to dollar, and I'm sympathetic to people that own it.
So this is the interesting thing about the financial system going virtual. Once it's on the internet, and we know the internet transcends all nations, the internet is the global nation, right? And up until Bitcoin, we didn't have a money for that nation. So Bitcoin is the sovereign currency of that country we call the internet, which is actually planet Earth.
Coming off the highs of the 2017 bull run, by March of 2018, Bitcoin would be about halfway through its current bear market. opening the month right above $10,300 and closing all the way down at $6,948. March 2018 was one of the bloodiest months in Bitcoin's history, and the bear market would continue for the following year.
Thanks so much for your time. We've seen quite a good recovery for Bitcoin since the lows in December, and trading volumes have been pretty good too. But we are, of course, still a long way off that high from the beginning of 2018. So do you think the bear market is over?
I don't think the bear market is over.
Heading into 2019, the crypto world had been fairly quiet since the epic 2017 bull run. But heading into March, Bitcoin did open the month at $3,800 and bottomed 4 days later at $3,122. The very last time Bitcoin would ever trade at this price. In one of the rare positive marches for Bitcoin, it closed the month up over 6% at $4,091 and would continue to climb after breaking the 200 weekly EMA before peaking above $13,900 in late June.
It wasn't just gold that fell today. Bitcoin had one of its worst days.
Tough day.
Ever, down almost 30%. Also, maybe a little bit surprisingly, BK.
The SEC again rejected a Bitcoin ETF application. Sorry to drag everybody in on Bitcoin here. This time from Wilshire, Phoenix. Is this the last straw for Bitcoin ETFs? 2 years we've been doing Bitcoin ETFs, getting thrown out by the SEC.
I doubt it.
Good evening, I'm Monsieur de Pompolnos. On tonight's episode, CZ outs himself as one of the best Bitcoin counter price indicators ever. Does he even beat Peter Schiff? Pandemonium in the supermarkets. Apparently people believe the virus attacks your butthole.
What the happened yesterday?
Jumping right into the market today in crypto. Red day. Overall market cap of cryptocurrency, $142 billion. Bitcoin bounced and it's back up closer to 5,000 now. It was quite a bit lower earlier.
Who can forget March of 2020? Bitcoin opened the month at $8,764 before the epic market crash just a few days later. Bitcoin peaked above $9,000 before falling almost 60%, all the way down to $3,850. Ironically, the very last time Bitcoin would ever see these prices. Now, institutions would begin investing into Bitcoin and funds would submit filings with the SEC to do so in early 2021. After the crash in March, Bitcoin would rally nearly 700%, hitting a high of $29,300 in late December. Now, looking at Bitcoin's performance in March, there's not really much we can reference to help us determine where the price is going here in the short term. However, one theme seemed to be fairly common over the last decade of March price action. The Bitcoin price bottomed in 5 of the last 9 years. So if we do indeed get a Bitcoin correction all the way down to, say, $36,000, it may be the very last time we ever see Bitcoin at these prices.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.